Hey folks, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster here. Wanted to know how to recreate this image or logo. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do this, but it shouldn't be too terribly hard. So basically we want to take the original and I want to enhance it to make all the lines a little bit sharper. So I'm going to go over to Lighting, Brightness, Contrast, and I'm just going to bring the contrast up, which will intensify the edges and the colors and everything, so it'll be easier to trace everything. And that'll give me a good template to start with. Next, I want to start a new layer, a new blank layer. So I got it here, and I want to find the exact center of this image. So I'm going to take a line, and let's make the color of the line black. Actually, let's just do something that they haven't used yet. So let's use like a pink and make the line hard-edged and do something like, I don't know, maybe 5 point is good. And actually, I want to snap to a grid. So I'm going to go to View and turn on the grid. I'm going to first click here once and then hold Shift down to this corner and click, boom, and that does a straight line from one corner to the other. Do the same thing over here. Click once and click down here. Boom, and that gives us the exact center of the frame. Now what we want to do is make a circle that is similar to the size of the edge. Let's do this edge because it's a constant circle. So now let's open up a new layer, and now we're going to do the circle. Let's grab the marquee and follow this edge on this one all the way over to here till it meets this one there. And I hold the left mouse key and come down to match this one here. And that's going to be, and it's snapping to every next circle. Now the original is a little bit off as far as it being perfectly round, and it's okay. And I let go. Now I'll take the color and let's make it black. I'll hit OK, and I'm going to fill in the circle. Boom. Now we got the black circle, the main one. Next, I'm going to turn that back off. There's another edge of the circle right here. So how we're going to do that is turn on the grid again. View, grid. And let's do a new layer and grab the marquee again, elliptical marquee. And we're going to start from this horizontal line where it meets the vertical line, which is one more over right here. I hold the left mouse button and drag this down to meet this edge here, right there. And I'm going to fill this one in with white. Boom. So now we got our two pieces, which is the black circle and the white inner smaller circle. The next line we can do is let's do this inner line here with the green. Do another elliptical marquee and follow its line. And we'll adjust it afterwards if it's a little bit off. It's right around there. And let's go ahead and grab a portion of the screen. I'm going to readjust it to be a little more contrasty. And go ahead, and we can change it later. Fill that in. And now what we're going to do is try to trace the original artwork here. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to start a new layer. Every time I do something new, I put a new layer to make it a lot easier. So let's try the freehand first. Here's a 5 point. This is going to be drawing the edges in black. So let's go ahead and change the color from green to solid black. Hit OK. And make this a small, thin, like a 3 point. And just basically redraw the whole thing from scratch. Once we got this traced, now we can do the tire tread, which is a little bit different. We'll try to copy it as much as we can. Okay, so that's pretty close to the original tread. Now let's go ahead and go back to the dragon and fill in this with the red. Go back to the dragon layer and go ahead and fill this in with the paint bucket. Boom. And the tail. Boom. You want to bring this to the top and then turn it off. Look at our new image so far. It's looking pretty good. Let's do the eyeball. And want it to be black, of course. Grab some white. And pop in the original again, see what's missing. We got some lines going on in the middle here. So let's go ahead and add those lines. Add a new layer on top of that, and we'll just trace these lines here. Black colored pen. And we're at 2 point. Okay, now let's go on top of the original layer, add a new layer, and that's going to be for the words. Not the words, these U's and W's. So basically we're just going to grab the pencil tool, or the pen tool, and go to our new blank layer and trace the big U, and then just go to our fill in and fill it in. Next we'll do the W. Make a new layer, call this one big W. And we'll just grab the pencil tool again. And that's pretty much it. Grab our paintbrush and click it in a couple times, and there we go. We have our U's and our W's. Now all we have to do is place them all the way around our image. So we'll go like this, hold the Alt, and put these in front of where they're supposed to be. Then we'll turn them afterwards. And let's go to this first one here. We zoom in. And that's pretty much it. Just keep on turning them until they fit to the right angles. Okay, once we got the U's done, go over to one of the W's, hold down the Alt, and just drag a new one over. We can reposition it to where we like it. And once we got it, hold the Alt down and drag a new one over. And that's pretty much it for the edges. So now what we want to do is make that space that is evident. And there we go. And basically we're going to go to text and go MIDWALES. Let's look for something similar to this font. So I can see which font I'm trying to get. I put some black behind it, and let's go to the fonts and do a search for our fonts for something similar to theirs. So we've picked out several choices of fonts here. We don't have the exact same font that they have, but let's try this one, see what happens. Let's make this 250 point. We want to get close to the right size. Double click to highlight the whole thing. Come down here to curve text, and we want it to do as an arc from horizontal from the top, and here's the angle of the arc. So we want to get the same angle that is our circle. Compare it to the original. It's pretty close. Okay, so I think we like that. The next is going to be Four-Wheel Drive Club Limited. So let's take this, copy it by hitting the Alt and dragging it. Now let's do the opposite. Actually, we can bring it down to 0 first. It doesn't really matter. Let's change this to minus 70. That's going to be too much, so hit OK. Hit OK, and basically we want to retype what it says. So Four-Wheel Drive Club LTD, and then take the curvature, and it actually doesn't want to go too much more than this, so I think this minus 100 is about as far as we can get. It's a 50% curve. Okay, so what I'm not showing you is that Photoshop Elements, the curvature does not allow this to curve beyond a certain degree. I think it's 90 degrees. So what I had to do is split up the bottom half into two sections. The one Four-Wheel Drive Club, Four-Wheel Drive, and then Club Limited on its own. So I'm just going to take those two separate pieces and place them by hand where I want them to be, and hopefully they'll just kind of match up. As long as the curvature is right, everything else should fall into place. And that's pretty much it. So when we compare it to the original, is there anything missing? Let's pull this original way to the top here. And there's the after, there's the before. There's a couple little lines that I need to add right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom, 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 boom. And turn our tread back on. And now I think we got us a finished product in just under an hour. Here we go, before, after, before, after, before, after. Well, that's it for now. This was a slightly longer than shorter quick tips tutorial. So this is Rich calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.